Thank you for tuning into The Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Ariel Morocco. Peter is the director of the 12th Division of the ACIO, Advanced or Alien Contact Intelligence Organization. Jessica is a galactic liaison and the interdimensional seer. Together they will discuss the most current updates from the ACIO, Council of Five, and other extraterrestrial sources regarding many influences on our planet today. Our new format allows you to ask questions and hear the answers from the previous show. Post your question in the comment section below the YouTube video. Disclosures, insider intel that keeps you updated with planetary changes.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Disclosures. We have a special guest here that will be joining Peter the Insider and myself. And he is from Scandinavia. His name is Olaf Andersen. And he has some information related to the ACIO and has been working with the ACIO on assisting the planet and doing some other things. So Peter wanted to have an interesting discussion, and that's what's going to happen. Without further delay, I just want to introduce Peter the Insider.
Hello, I want to say hello to you and to all of our audience. And I'm really happy that we got our special guest here.
Yeah, we were talking about bringing everyone together and having this discussion, sharing with the public. So, Olaf, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. And thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, we've been waiting for a little while, and this is a good time for us to have a discussion. It's been a few years that we've been interacting, and maybe we can kind of go over the story of how when some of this stuff began, or if you, let's start with that. When you first met Peter.
I first met Peter in 2016. It was through James Rink. I was following him and his shows for a while, and I got more and more suspicious about my own situation, that I might have some involvement, or it felt really weird. So I contacted James, and he was the one who, James Rink, the Super Soldier Talk, he was the one who introduced me to Peter in 2016. I think it was July. And that was kind of mind-blowing. I remember the first session with Peter. I was literally devastated. I went into a sort of like a depression. I was in a shock because I was not ready to hear my own story, so to speak. All of my files, all the records, approximately it was more than 20,000 files. If I remember right, Peter, and they were all connected to Kruger Corporation. Some of the files as well, they were not open. Sure about that, the meaning of that, or maybe the files is hidden somehow, or maybe it's for some future missions. I'm not sure. But I remember he told me that, by the way, you're a crossbreed, and I was thinking, I was actually not surprised hearing that, because I've been different since childhood. Since as long as I can remember, I was very different from other children, and had adventures like in sport, physical strength, etc. I was able to get into people's mind, and I was very gifted as in drawing since I was a child. I was so-called super talented in the art, and how to say this? Another Scandinavian, he, this information I got recently. I was introduced to him when I was, let's say, 12 years old, and I didn't know that he was an SS officer. But he was the one who taught me in different skills when it comes to art. And he lived very close to the base in Telemark, the Wehrmacht base. Peter told me probably in the first session that I was programmed there. I was trained at Wehrmacht. I have no military background, but I was trained there. And this guy, he lived very nearby the base. And when I think about it, maybe he was one of the handlers or one of the persons who, yeah, you know, the connection there. It was like, because Wehrmacht has a connection to the Nazi Germany, and the Norwegian company, Norwegian Hydro was they established a power plant station there at Wehrmacht. They started to produce heavy water in 1930 or something. And there is a connection with the Nazi Germans and the Wehrmacht base, as far as I know. You have to fill me in here, Peter. But,
Yes, you are right. You are right. It was 1940. Yes, you are right. And just for official record, there were at the time, once we start to talk about, in quotes, involvement stuff, your involvement being a Kruger super soldier, being a crossbreed, all kind of that stuff, the records, let's call them more records inside or within the files, you know, they, many of them, they were secret. I don't want to say sealed, because sealed, it's different a term from secret. Still some of them are sealed till nowadays. Some of them are secret though, so that means, yes, okay, we can talk about certain stuff, but I don't want to say not publicly, but you know, we need to be super cautious, because you are on specific missions, and once we start to talk about missions publicly, we will screw it up, you know, because technically once we start to talk about stuff and you are involved, and it is secret or top secret, so that means like a level 60 plus, right? It is like, what the heck are those guys doing? They want to jeopardize the mission, do you know what I mean? And we definitely don't want to do it, you know. And the stuff is that I was like, how the heck is that possible that ACIO for that long time, and they've got, I mean, our HQ, I mean, like our headquarters, they've got that good a whole Scandinavia covered. And I was like, what the heck? They missed this kind of important guy, and was like, how the heck is this possible? And then I was like, because I immediately contacted, once I mean, James, James Rink connected two of us together, right?
Yeah.
I immediately contacted HQ in Pine Gap in Australia, and I was like, how the heck you miss this guy? And you still missing him, you will be without being James Rink and me. And they were like,
Exactly.
what the heck? They were like, and I don't know, to be perfectly honest with you, and technically not only with you, but with you, not only with you, Olaf, but with you, Jessica, and all of our listeners, our audience. I don't know if they were pretending it, or if they really don't considered you being in quotes important. And I was like, what in world are you talking about? This guy is doing important missions. It was like 60 level 60 plus. Do you even realize what the heck are we talking about right now? With Kruger being on Mars, being on Jupiter, whatever, and they were like speechless. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, it is like they don't know absolutely what the heck I was talking about. It was like absolutely like, how can I say it? Like people or man or woman who can see, and for example by car crash, car accident, lose the ability to see. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like sight. And it is like that. Do you know what I mean? Like exactly that stuff. And I was seriously, and I will not watch my language, and I was seriously pissed off at them. How the heck it was that possible for this long period of time? Because Scandinavia, it is not, I don't know, like Indochina in quotes. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, all kind of that stuff. It will be kind of complicated to track important people. Do you know what I'm talking about in those parts of the world? And I was like, and especially Scandinavia, I don't want to say they have it in quotes covered. They pretended. They pretended, because I can say it was like that. They pretended they've got that they've got deep scanned that. Do you know what I mean? And they were even not able to say if it was true or not. Once I will not respectively dig deep enough into your files. I was seriously pissed off at them, because this is not the way how they should approach their associates. No, I was pissed off. Seriously, I mean, sorry, I don't want to get emotional, but this is not the way. And considering how important stuff you did on one hand, and how dangerous your missions were on the other hand, I was like, what in the world? And I don't know, they have no goddamn king clue, absolutely nothing. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you too much. Sorry, Olaf, sorry. You can continue.
Thank you for that. I have a few recalls, but as you told me, and as I know now, I'm programmed as an Omega, so that means that basically all my memories are wiped out. It's nearly impossible to get them to surface. But I have been able to get some information, because I was desperate after talking to Peter in 2016. I was so keen on, to to know more and to access information from missions, etc., etc. So I decided to contact a regression therapist. She's Scandinavian too. she has been very helpful, and she keep these records in a safe place. And the thing is that when you get access to recalls or memories through regression, it's like watching a movie. It's like being in a cinema. You will never forget it. So that's a good part of it. Yeah, it's very powerful. So you're just there, like it really happens. So it was, of course, very devastating to witness myself going through the MK Ultra torture, um, um, how they, the drowning techniques and the sexual abuse, the techniques, etc. It's horrifying to talk about, but I'm doing fine. I don't have these issues or PSTD, post stress.
Sorry. You mean PTSD, post-traumatic
Yeah.
stress syndrome? Yep.
Yes, PTSD. I don't have them. I feel pretty good about myself. I'm still very fit, very strong, and physically and psychologically. I don't know why, but that's just who I am. And in the same way, I also know that I'm still very active, even though I'm nearly close to 60 now. But I'm still active as an asset or agent or soldier or whatever. I still have recalls. So I was able to get some recalls up to the surface, and I think I will go for the number 5 now. I'm not sure if I'm able to talk about one of my last thing I did, because in January, you, Peter, and Jessica as well, you contacted me. It was 15th of January.
Yeah.
And we talked 1 hour, 11 minutes. It's kind of strange again, because I see this number 111 or 1111 on a daily basis. That's another story. But I don't
Peter,
know
is he
if
allowed to talk about this?
I think it's pretty much okay, because it is technically the mission what is connected to two missions. They are still active on one hand, but the level of secrecy is give me a second, 20 below, so it's not that big deal. I mean, technically, yes, it is secret, but not. It is outer stellar. That means, like outer our solar system, so it is not that big deal. Despite it is secret. So go ahead.
I mentioned to Peter a couple of years ago, because I was thinking this dream is very strange. The recalls, it was not because of the regression, but the regression can trigger some other memories to surface. So that will happen to me. So I will definitely recommend regression therapy, because it can trigger other memories. So I was dealing with these black twisted crystals. I was thinking, what is this? And I sent some pictures to Peter, probably to you, Jessica, as well, because they looked like licorice.
Almost like a black licorice.
Yeah, licorice. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I was sure.
It's essentially it's crystalline and with a similar twist to it.
They are actually black crystals, and I think that's the reason why my joints in my both hands were pretty damaged for a couple of years. So I had to treat myself with some therapy. Anyway, but I was pretty sure that I was dealing with something to do with the adjustment of the timelines. And it was part of a sabotage operation. It was a few words popping up in my mind. So that I was involved in doing some adjustments, perhaps, or we did something with these boxes or the crystals. These devices are still out there, and they, as far as I can understand, they can connect. You can connect through these devices to the matrix. But now the matrix is not shut down, but it's taken over, or as Peter told us before, the 26th of April, that period of time with the matrix ended. So now we are facing new timelines, new probabilities, and new possibilities, because the timelines are very unpredictable. It's like a river. Time is like a river. You never know the outcome of the river. Sometimes the river split. Sometimes you get like disturbed by another river or another outcome. So you never know what happened down there in the end. You know, you can tell roughly. Oh, yeah, there's fish even down there, but you don't know exactly. So these devices, again, I have to be grateful because I was able to talk with Johan Fritz, and he confirmed that this is absolutely right. Olaf, you were there. I mean, you were also. We did the same mission, the same operation together. We did this on this base in Norway. And he also remembered me from different operations because when we did that operation, we used the TR3s, and I remember very well how we also, because some of our soldiers they were like lost on the ground, so we did what we could to search for their frequency numbers, because every soldier have a certain frequency number, like a fingerprint. When we use these devices for searching soldiers through the tier 3s, the crafts, we can certainly find them. That's for sure. But anyway, I know that I was, or maybe still I am, I don't know, involved in these operations to disable these devices. That's maybe the right word.
Can I ask you a question? There is a sequence of events that happened. So you went to a regressionist, which, you know, I've done plenty of that work. I believe in it. I did years of it, a couple of years of it before I actually went public, and it helped me tremendously, as you said. But getting into that, so you had a realization and a recall of some of these things that happened, and then you met Johan, and you met Anthony and James, and then you started to put the pieces together. Is that pretty much what happened?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I feel that I'm still very in the beginning of my search for answers, but many of the pieces are coming together now. And another thing, I just talked to Johan earlier today, and he feels the same thing. We are, especially Kruger. I don't know about the other corporations. There's plenty out there, as we know, but when it comes to Kruger assets and agents, we are grouping together. We are finding each other. no matter what. I mean, we are coming together for some reason, and it's because we have to deal with the 2020 2030 frame. We are going into a new phase, a new upcoming events are rising, and we need to deal with this. We would probably be quite soon, as far as I know, we will be activated. Maybe not as the one we were in the programs, but we will for sure be activated, and we will literally involve ourselves in this 3D world, not just in the parallel timelines, or if you understand, if this makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a question for Peter. I noticed that, Olaf is, retrieving information. Johan seems to have a lot of information, a lot of recall. What happened to Olaf? And maybe that has something to do with what happened to the HQ or the headquarters of the ACIO, is they try to wipe out maybe a lot of the information, or what do you think, Peter?
Technically, during the time, because once again we got in contact, I mean myself and Olaf, in 2016, and at the time I don't know, I didn't knew what happened, and then I got it, like it was a big time for them, need like big time, to completely get rid of memories and recalls for certain agents, not only, and super soldier. And that's the problem, because not all super soldiers, it is like that. Not all super soldiers are agents, and not only like for ACIO, but for example for Kruger, whatever. And not all agents, for example Kruger's or ACIO's agents or whatever, not agents are super soldiers. And that's the stuff. For them, super soldiers and agents 2 in 1, right? They are goddamn valuable. But problem is, for them, once they will start to remember, to make a recall, do you know what I mean? And there's the stuff like, oh, that will be a problem. Do you know what I'm talking about? So no, any sort of recollections, bye, and them hit like a punch in the face. Technically, they start to do and take, I don't want to say, because it wasn't ACIO, it wasn't in the first place, it wasn't Kruger in the second place, so I don't know what the heck happened, but they hired those kind of crazy IT-ish people from Darknet, and they did this crazy stuff in Telemark in Norway. This crazy stuff, total mind wipe. Technically, it is even deeper, how can I say it, deeper deleting of formatting, like formatting hard drive, some sort of low level format, what is even deeper than total recall. And the fact that you are able, even after that, after this low level formatting, that you are able, I'm talking to you right now, Olaf, that you are able to get any recollection, it is like a miracle, Johan, they made twice or 3 times on him total recall. No, but the stuff is, The Total Recall is not low-level format. It is absolutely goddamn crazy. So you did something. I mean, like, yeah, that was good, but no, that's bad idea. He definitely don't need to remember that. It's no, it's big no. That's the stuff what they need, and it's untrackable because they hire some crazy guys to do that, and they paid what I know because I've got my tech guys, IT guys too, that they hired some guys via darknet, and they paid for them. They paid them for it via bitcoins. Still, after this time, what is 4 years plus, I can't get who the heck ordered this. I don't know.
That's the problem right there. So a lot of the assets or agents or super soldiers go through all of these experiences, and they have bits and pieces of the recollection. However, a lot of these other people remember them and know everything that they did. And so you're kind of at a disadvantage. And, here is a perfect example of why, there's a bit of a hiding of identity, because it makes people very vulnerable. And I've been talking about this for years, is that I've had people show up that knew a whole lot about what was going on in the background and things that I was involved with. And I had no idea, and none whatsoever. And every single one that I've talked to, because of the mind wiping, that anyone that was involved in these projects are vulnerable.
The stuff. This is not total recall. This is mind wipe. As I said, it's like much deeper. It's like, I don't know, like which layer of how can I say it, like deep consciousness or something like that. And I was like, who the heck will do something like that? Because Kruger, definitely not. It is Olaf, their agent, their super soldier. No, nonsense. ACIO, nonsense. So who the heck was able or wants to do something like that? I mean, want to do something like that? No organization or I don't know, group or corporation, no motivation, no motive, nothing. And then how the heck they were possible to do it without that deep level of darknet and pay for it with bitcoins? And that kind of bitcoins, even our best servers in ACIO, we can't track it back for 4 fucking years. It's
Wow.
crazy. It's crazy.
Did you say 14 or 4?
4. I mean, technically, give me a second. We start to do it immediately. I talked first time with Olaf, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because we are not able to do it till these days. It's like almost 4.5 years. It's absolutely crazy. So there is maybe some outer solar, I'm talking like outer, heliocentric system-ish corporation or group or whatever. I don't know.
I can tell you something. Through one of my regressions, then in that regression, all the 5 episodes, if I can say so, I was something like 7 or 8 years old, and I was at the Star Academy, and I was taught through a very advanced like a black screen OLED, type of screen. Everything about space and systems in our universe. They also teach me how to read and understand Sumerian language. And the teacher, I called her the mother. She was like a 6.5 feet tall extraterrestrial, elongated skull. She had a brownish, dark brownish robe. She had a medallion on her chest. I can't remember how it looked like, but she was the one who took very good care of me through my childhood. She also took me back to the planet I was supposedly from, or my the so-called soul connection. I don't know how to describe it, but the planet was named Asta. That I remember very well from the regression. And she told me, because the therapist asked her, who is Olaf? What do you want with him? And she answered that we do whatever we can to protect him. We will always make sure that he will be safe out there. And but she was telling her that we allowed certain things to happen, because she was kind of surprised that how could you, why didn't you intervene? Why didn't you bother when he was like tortured or going through these horrible things through the programs? But she was more this is for his this is for the future, and to to strengthen him, to make sure that he will be among those who will help out, and she was referring to the end of days. I'm not saying that we are going into the end of days, but this is more or less like before the beginning, before we are entering the shift or the ascension. So there's certain things, certain events that we have to allow to happen. A lot of people will die, of course, but there's, at the end, we will for sure, it will be for sure a good outcome. But she was making sure to the therapist that he will be part of that. So she knew that I was already then chosen for to the programs. And Peter also told me that in the beginning of the sessions, that I was already chosen before my birth. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah. There are some protectors out there.
So that's yeah, confirmation of information that you had, and it makes you more solid in what you're sharing. But I think what I want to ask Peter is I noticed that Peter and I have had discussions in the past that the Merge and some of the others have learned ancient Sumerian language as part of their teaching, as well as Hebrew and Farsi. I think was another ancient Farsi. Peter, do you want to elaborate on that and who maybe these protectors of Olaf are?
Technically, yeah. Yes. I'm talking respectively who Olaf was referring and you are referring right now to a certain specific group of super soldiers, right? They are making, let's say, category for itself, right?
Right.
That means they are protecting themselves from either very bad memories or dangerous memories. In other words, dangerous memories, they can put themselves into danger in order in the situation once they will be captured by enemy. But it is absolutely worthless, worthless to use mind wipe, totally mind wipe, once they can be retrieved via regression stuff. So I really highly doubt that this, in quotes, mind wipe, low level formatting, that this group of super soldiers are involved in this. Nope, I don't believe it. Nope. Mm-mm.
No, I mean, he just explained that a benevolent or a kind group came in and
No. I'm
helped
just
the
saying.
news younger.
Give me a second. I'm saying that they are doing it for good purpose. Do you know what I'm talking about? But sometimes doing stuff for good purpose needs to be done by, how can I say it, unpleasant and bad way. Do you know what I'm talking about? It is like, for example, once your either leg or hand are damaged, or for example, you got aneurysma, do you know what I'm talking about? Gangrena, and your life should be saved, there should be amputation. Do you know what I mean? Like it or not, it is something like that. But the stuff is that this can be an option. This can be an option once they consider the whole situation as a big risk for letting them, anyone pretty much they were facing as the enemy, once they consider it as too big risk in order to outside infiltration. That can be as Olaf was make this clarification, and as I am thinking through the whole situation right now, do you know what? Actually, that can be solid explanation. The question is, who the heck should be an opponent, an enemy? Do you know what I mean? Like foe in this situation? That benevolent group of super soldiers, because they are really good. I mean, they are pure good. They will never ever harm anybody, right? And if they will, only for really goddamn good reason, for in quotes a greater purpose. Do you know what I'm talking about? And there is like, what the heck should it be? The goddamn good reason. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And I was also curious too that he was learning ancient Sumerian language. Does that imply also that the species was ancient Sumerian
No,
or
not
Akkadian or Anunnaki or anything like that?
No, ancient Sumerian is universal speaking language for super soldiers. Technically, ancient Sumerian, and you mentioned, Olaf, you mentioned which kind of another languages?
No.
This is in real time. I was studying for like 4 years ancient Greek. That's something else.
I said Hebrew earlier.
Hebrew.
And Farsi, because you and I talked about all
And
this.
Farsi is just, by the way, language for, they are calling themselves ancient Persian, and technically it is Iran. Yeah, okay. Because technically they've got ancient Sumerian, it's basic, language, universal speaking language of super soldiers. Then you've got Farsi, and that's kind of an. Jessica, you can you remember this? An
Aramaic, perhaps.
Aramaic.
Aramaic?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You said N,
Thank you
but
very
yeah,
much.
that makes sense.
Aramaean,
Thanks.
Aramaic.
I don't
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But do you know,
that's biblical language, you know,
but do you
Hebrew
know
and
what is
Aramaic.
crazy? Because they are not using Aramaic. I was always like Aramean. They are not using in quote standard Aramaic language, but very goddamn complicated dialect. That means it's a warning, like for foe, for enemy. We know that you are here, and be aware because we know what you are up to. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's warn sign, warning sign.
I have a question for Peter. I remember from one of my recalls that I was handling a special device. I named it the multi-dimensional key device. You could hold it in your hand, and it was like looked like a game controller, but in the middle it was like a bluish crystal. But the letters to use was like a wheel. It was Sumerian, and I was dealing with that device again. Something to do with maybe open portals or bending, this time space or whatever, creating something like a wormhole to enter through. Because I have a lot of memories coming back from missions. I talked to Peter about that as well before. I've seen this bright flash of light when they bring me back from missions. But anyway, the multi-dimensional key device does it ring any bells?
Do you know what? Actually, this is absolutely crazy because you called it absolutely. It is MDK. MDK, multi-dimensional key. I mean, like, what the heck? You are like, I call it myself. No, you don't. You are, what the heck? I mean, man, this is crazy, man. I mean, just by the way, and the stuff is because you said I was dealing it, but this is the stuff. You was dealing with that, but you wasn't playing with that. You was dealing, in quotes, dealing. That means it look for normal people, it will look like some sort of Rubik's cube or something like that, like a riddle, 3D riddle. For you, no, it wasn't a big deal. And just by the way, and you'll be like, no, Peter, I don't believe that. Actually, I saw footage from this mission. Believe it or not, I saw footage from this mission, video footage from this mission, and it was goddamn crazy, because
Wow.
because you stole it with Johan, and there was this crazy heavy fight, and you ran upside down to the ceiling. And Johan was SMG in one hand, machine gun in another hand, like, no, just do something, this is heavy. That was crazy, jeez, man. And it was like, I don't know how the heck should I close this portal, give me a few seconds. And then those motherfuckers, they just ran up to you, and you made the last piece of the riddle, the puzzle, and portal closed. And that was so crazy. I mean, man, and you literally saved the day, both of you, just by the way. It was so good. It was like, what the heck? They should make some sort of a sci-fi movie from that.
Peter, is this the same device that you've talked about in the past? It looks like a Rubik's Cube.
Technically, the core looks like a Rubik's Cube, but not. I mean, it is core, okay? But you can have, I don't know, like hundreds, maybe thousands of them. But core looks like a Rubik's Cube. Yep,
Yeah,
you are right.
You've talked about it a couple times in the show, and strange things happened when you talked about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Did we make these devices? Because I know I was also working at the so-called Kruger lab.
Yes, you are right, because technically it was like they were like this scientific teams of scientific researchers, and it was like this Kruger I mean, sorry, this Rubik's Cube, it's so boring. And you thrown it to the corner of the whole lab, and you like, there, now we are talking. And that was this kind of crazy complicated, not cube, but I don't know, this kind of spherical-ish stuff. Do you know what I mean? And they were like, no, don't touch this. And he was playing with that already. And then, no, don't do that. And they need to get you this kind of, as you said, rest of this whatever, like gamepad, whatever you can control the playing consoles or something like that, because technically you touch it, just because with touching it you make it unstable, because it was in some sort of crazy-ish field system. It made it stable, and you don't know it, because no one never ever talked about that with you. You just put it out, and it was like, ancient Sumerian, interesting, and no, just get it back. And it was way too late. It was way too late. Technically, that was the first prototype, just by the way. Kind of funny, a funny way how to create first prototype, just by the way.
That's crazy. So not only is Olaf a super soldier and an agent, but also was in the lab. So that brings in another element.
Yeah, of course. And that's the stuff, because it was some sort of, I don't know, natural gift, natural talent for doing something. And that's the stuff that they, to be honest, I was goddamn, and I will not watch my language, because they underestimate certain not people, but you know what I'm talking about. And they are like dumb or so. I mean, of course you will never ever do something stupid, I mean, willingly. Do you know what I mean by intent? And you was able to make it stable just by holding it, and that's interesting. Not inside your hands, I mean your palms and fingers, because there was some sort of very interesting instability-ish, field. But once you pulled your fingers and palms away, and it started to levitate, and it was perfectly stabilized. So you pretty much did all the same effect as it was this, in quotes, stabilization tank, and they were like, because they realized all the time, like after immediately, he is the one, because technically they talked every single time, there should come the agent, in quotes, 2-in-1 agent and super soldier, 2-in-1, and those idiots, they didn't told them that you are 2-in-1,
They probably didn't want anyone to know what he was doing. So to hide, so they can keep using him and not have to worry about it.
But I'm just saying that no single person in this crazy lab, they have no goddamn clue that Olaf was the one. Do you know what I'm talking about? That was crazy.
So when he would touch it, is it that the physical body or his body was grounding, like a grounding element, like an electric?
Absolutely, electromagnetic field. Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead, Olaf.
Yes, I have a very strong electromagnetic field. Some people, they literally get hurt when they get close to me. Some of my close relatives, they can't, sometimes they can't, like touch me or
hug you, for example, or shake hands, right?
Yeah. So I'm pretty much loaded all the time. I'm surrounded by crystals as well, because we are entering now these new frequencies. The Hertz levels are rising. The Schumann resonance are pretty much gone. So the closer we get to the ascension, the higher the Hertz levels will become. So a lot of people, I'm afraid they will actually die because they can't cope with the vibrational levels on the planet. So I think that's also one of the reasons why I have to involve in these future or nearby missions, because we are made for it. I have 24 implants. This is ACIO records. And there is also another advanced microchip in my brain.
Sorry, not 24. It was 24. Now you've got, give me a second, 32. Yeah. 32. It raised just a little bit. And you've got not one but two latest generations of chip implants inside brain, just for official record. Okay.
So this is definitely sounding like Total Recall. That implant, remember, it had all the memories of,
because they want.
And in daily life, I don't have a photographic memory, but somehow Kruger, they can tune into my implants, and they can take out any information they want. Whenever they want.
You mean frequencies of your implants?
Yeah, okay. The frequencies, they are readable. Because I remember also I was involved with the Project Moonlight. I think that's part of Kruger as well, one of my recalls, because we did some research about how to scan and how to read a human brain. It's all about the frequencies and the Hertz levels. So it's absolutely possible to take a copy of your memories. Whatever you use your eyes for during a day, we are able to get that nearly on a film.
Yeah, or surveillance of some sort. Yeah.
So your eyes is like your camera.
In the movie Total Recall, it's related to a revolution and an overthrow of the system. Are we looking at a similar scenario in some way, or is this just a interesting coincidence? Peter.
you know, technically for certain super soldiers, yes, but this, if you want to talk about, in quotes, overall reality, that means reality for or timeline for wide variety of the people, wide majority of the people, you know, this will not happen in our what timeline, or I don't know,
Or
reality, if you want.
context of
Context of
existence.
existence, yeah, you are right. But the stuff is that something definitely was screwed, totally screwed, once this kind of benevolent super soldiers group want to make total mind wipe. This makes total sense. This makes complete sense. But who the heck is enemy? Because they are not doing that kind of crazy stuff without absolute solid reason. And to be perfectly honest, in this situation, and because once I will know, or maybe I think, do you know what I'm talking about, I will say something. But I don't want to say nonsense, like random BS to the people, and I don't want to do that.
I agree. I mean, we just want to provide information that we know for sure. And thank you for saying that, Peter, because I mean, a lot of people that act as if they know everything, I become very skeptical because no one knows everything, and they may know the details of the work that they do, but I think that's a sense of honesty and integrity to admit that you don't have certain information, but you know you can find it out. Go ahead, Olaf.
Yes, I have another question. It considered the time frame again, 2020, 2030, and again, it's as I might put it, it's a probability, but my recall was very vivid, very real. I also discussed it with Johan, because I was dealing with a meteorite. Actually, it was 3 huge meteorites on their way to Earth, or Terra, and I was there, and I was dealing with that, and we did some. We were able to explode the meteorite by using some type of weaponry. This is a sci-fi, but it's a story. But the energy beam, if I can say so, came out through my wrist, like type of energy.
Sorry, I need to say something.
It was like 11,000 hertz. I remember that.
Yes, and it is scalar weapon. I've got it too. Scalar weapon. I've got it too, so I know very well what you are talking about. 11,000 hertz. Absolutely, I know what you are talking about. It looks like nothing. Like, what the heck is this guy talking about? It looks like innocent-ish stuff, like, nah, 11,000 hertz, it's nothing. We can emit something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about? Easily. Technically, you can have shortwave, radio emission, or 11,000 hertz, not a big deal, right? You can hear it, whatever. No, this is scalar weapon. And those guys who don't know, no.
So we
don't mess around with scalar weapons. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So we were able to rescue the world from disaster. So this is how I see it in a positive way. Many of us, we call ourselves the Kruger assets or whatever. we are on a rescue mission as well. We are not just going around. We're not killing innocent people. We are rescuing people, and we are doing operations to make sure that Earth or our solar system go through ascension. Because these, especially the Draco reptilians, they cannot handle these frequencies we are talking about now. When we go through the ascension, the Earth, the surface of the Earth will have another resonance, and believe it or not, these reptilians, they will not be able to have the same. They will not be able to control our systems anymore. So everything is about vibration, resonance, frequencies. So makes sense.
I would like to bring in another aspect that stands out to me. You talked about the Rubik's Cube, which has the primary colors on it. There's also a creative side that you have, Olaf. And I'm wondering if Olaf is also, Peter, this is a question for you, if Olaf is also working with color frequencies.
Yes, I can say yes, because once again, because of, or not from this point of view, not because, but thanks to the very specific DNA genetic heritage-ish profile. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Just by curiosity, I was testing myself. I took a DNA test. So you can guess the result, but I was 100% Scandinavian, or 100% Nordic, if you can say so.
I believe you. I believe you totally.
And the blood type is so connected to the O. Anyway, I have another question as well, because for me this is an opportunity to ask questions. I have, as you know, I have fragments of recalls. I have a lot of recalls. I could talk for several hours about those, but
You could.
In the
Yeah.
show, and we can talk further.
I believe we have
Yes, because
plenty of
because
time.
we are making shows. I don't know, like approximately 2 hours plus something like that, plus minus, and maybe we can make a series of shows. What do you think, Jessica? Is it okay?
Yeah, I think that we're doing that with a few, and these interviews are different from the regular disclosure show, but they're unique where we're actually going over some of the people that have been working with the agency of the ACIO, and because we have permission now through the ACIO to do further disclosure, it brings us to another level. So this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Back to the question. The Summer Olympics in Brazil. Which year was that? I think it was
2016.
Yeah, thank you. If I can ask you, Peter, because I was there with you, but I don't I don't remember anything.
But
The
we
only thing I
were. But
the
we
only-
were there,
The only thing
man.
I remember that was
You told me that.
Olaf, we were there. We were there for certain specific reason. We cannot talk about yet.
Okay.
We cannot talk about till nowadays because it was secret mission. And I was like, what the heck? You cannot remember? And he was like, what? That was kind of.
Yeah. I'm totally blank slated. The only thing I remember was that you were surprised because I was so silent, or my behavior was so strange. But anyway, we can talk about that another time.
not strange in bad way, but you know,
Yeah.
as typical Scandinavian, no, no, almost no gestures. Only very laconic in talking. You know, like I can talk like I don't know, like
Yeah.
10 minutes or 15 minutes or half hour, and it was like 4 or 5 sentences. I was like, do you have any problem? I mean, like, not problem being enemy or something like that, or
Yeah.
annoyed, but you cannot speak English fluently or so, and you just laugh. If
Yeah.
I want to say something, I will say.
Yeah.
That was your answer.
So that year was 2016 was in Brazil, and 2016 the Winter Olympics was in
No,
Lillehammer.
No,
Summer Olympics
summer.
in Brazil. In Brazil, Summer Olympics.
Yeah, but well, I'm just saying that it was in Lillehammer in the winter.
That was
Was it?
1994.
1994, it was Lillehammer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was. I don't know why it's. Oh, that's the Winter Youth Olympics. Sorry.
And what I also want to know, maybe I know the answer already, but back to the base in Telemark, the Wehrmacht base. As we know today, on the surface, it's just a museum. It's, you know, the
Nothing interesting on the
yeah,
surface. Yeah,
on
you
the
are.
surface, it's just a museum. But anyway, as far as I figure, it's the base is going all the way down to the seafloor, and there is special entrances to access the base. And I don't know that for a fact, but I'm pretty sure that the base is connected to other bases through Europe and all the way to the US through the tunnel systems, through
Yes, you are.
shuttle systems.
Yes, you are right. You are right. They are using specific shuttle systems, pretty much the vacuum-ish system, as Elon Musk wants to get to the you know, for public transport, and it's like is that kind of crazy. We are using it. I mean, not only in ACIO, but you know, all kind of Kruger-ish, do you know what I mean? Corporations, they are using it for more than 70 years or so, 60, 70 years. And you are absolutely right. But the craziest part of crazy story from my point of view is that they've got this huge reactor in Telemark, I mean in Wemork base, yeah, you were right. And I was like, what the heck is this stuff? It looks like spherical, like ball-ish system. It is rotating very slow and creating goddamn big amount of energy. And I was like, okay, what the heck is this for? And they told me this, in quotes, crazy scientist, you know, like this white suit, not suit, but you know what I'm talking about, this white coat-ish stuff. And he never ever heard make his hairs or something like that, no, nothing. And he was like, we've got electromagnetic anomalies. Without this, we cannot work in this base. And he was laughing at it, and I was like, okay, what you are laughing at? And he was like, we just came back from testing site, and my colleague don't know where which kind of direction last Thursday is. And it was like, and this is the reason for laughing, for make it loud, I mean for making jokes. And he was like, and what the heck should I laughing at? It's like, this is crazy, you know, crazy scientists. Because he don't know which kind of direction is last Thursday. And then I got it that they came back from time machine-ish part of the Wemork's bakes. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
But can we tell who is running or controlling the base? Are we allowed to say that? Or?
Do you know what? Yeah. If you want, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's as far as I know, I didn't know this until now. So I believe it's a Kruger base.
You are right.
So that's for me personally. This is very interesting because now one of the big mysteries, one of the big pieces in the puzzle it came together now. So the picture is getting clearer. So it's very, for me it's very understandable. Because as you told me, all my files, all the records are connected to Kruger, and I am I was born in Telemark, not very far from the base, so makes a lot of sense. And the Nazi German involvement in the base, and the teacher I told you about, and it makes a lot of sense now.
Are you allowed to talk about that mission at all, or?
I will say, give me a second. If Olaf wants to talk about that, it is not a big deal because now it is still. This is. Give me a second. I will load it. This is 20 level 20 below, so it is still secret. But this part of this, let's say, point of view, what we want to talk about is declassified. So if Olaf wants to talk about it, let's do it. Go ahead.
If you do that, give some background. So this is the facility with the hard water. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the background of the Nazis had an interest in this. Do you want to give the historical background to the location? Maybe from World War II, as you explained it to me.
Yeah, it's the hold on here, just and they were able to establish the Norwegian company, Norsk Hydro. Hydro, by the way, is ancient Greek, and it means water, like Hydra or Hydro. Modern Greek is Nero, but anyway. So the name Hydro established the base long time before the Germans. I mean, actually in around 1920s. But what's interesting is that the Hydro company they had contact with a German company, IG Farben, and
AGF AGFI. Yeah. AGFA. AGFI. Yeah, you were right.
AG
AGFA. AGFA. Yeah.
And they were supporting the Nazi Germans, that company, and they were stockholders. They had a majority as shareholders in Norsk Hydro. People they don't know this, but it's kind of dark history. So they were supporting Norway to produce and to build and to modernize the protection of heavy water. So that's how I see the connection with the Nazi Germans. I believe I don't have the history as Johan when it comes to Kruger because he have all the details there. But as far as I understand, Kruger is like a branch or like they are not Nazis. They are not Nazi Germans at all. But if
They
I can
are
say
not.
that,
you are
came
don't
from
yes,
that
Yes, you are right.
they are
political direction.
They've got background,
they've got
background,
Yeah.
but they are not involved. How can I say it? Not the ideology, the philosophy of the Nazis or something like that. You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Yeah, for example, like you've been involved in military at the time, right? But you don't, and I will not watch my language once again. You don't give a shit about who the heck is commanding you. You are simply a soldier, either soldier or officer or something like that, and you are like, what the heck? I just will wear another uniform, fight with another under another flag. Do you know what I mean? Like with another pieces of weaponry or something like that, and period, end of story. Job done. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you are absolutely right, my friend. You are absolutely right, Olaf. Yep, exactly.
Can either one of you explain to the public what heavy water is?
Go ahead, Olaf, if you want. Okay.
I'm not an expert on that. I really don't want to go on that ice. But anyway, it was the reason why they had to sabotage the factory, because they believed that the Germans, the Nazi Germans, they believed that they were using the heavy water for developing nuclear weapons. As far as we know today, that was not the that was not the reason. Johan explains that they use heavy water for their first crafts.
The heavy water. Oh, sorry.
Yes, you go ahead, Jessica.
The heavy water is which the hydrogen in the molecules is partly or wholly replaced by the isotope deuterium, used especially as a moderator in nuclear reactors. So there's the interest of it. It's related to supporting nuclear
yes,
reactors.
But do you know what is interesting? That technically, without, and this is absolutely, or that will sound crazy, but without nuclear weapons, we will not have atomic power plants. What the heck? Because technically,
it's the same. Same
process. It is like what the heck? We invested such a big amount, such a crazy amount of money, and what the heck? We can do it for, in quotes, peaceful stuff. We can use it. Do you know what I mean? And then they start to build nuclear power plants. Yeah.
Norsk Hydro, the companies, they are very involved in the political world. They are always presented at the Bilderberger conference, and they're everywhere. So they're still very powerful as a company. They have a lot of influence. But actually, they used labor work. The German company, they used labor work. They used people from the camps to work. So it's Norway has a dark history when it comes to Denmark. If you want to do some research there, it's it's not good for the eyes and the ears to read. So E.G. Farben relied in the 1940s on slave labor from concentration camps, including 10,000 from Auschwitz. So, but if I'm not wrong, I believe that Kruger took control over the base. They took the control from the Nazi Germans, who became later on the Nachtwaffen. So they kind of split. Is that right, Peter?
Yeah, absolutely. You are right. Technically, you are the same level. I mean, you've got information of the same level as Johan, because you discussed about that stuff with him in the first place, and in the
Yes.
second place, I mean, you've got goddamn good brain, because despite they made that kind of low-level mind wipe, do you know what I mean? You can get all kind of that recollection, and I'm like, what the heck? So that's kind of, let's say it is a big, do you know what I mean? It is a big one. Big, it is a big stuff in stake. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and that's the problem that, I think our organization is or was hiding something, and because, we need to be very clear. Either I will say, in quotes, merciful lies, no, world is that good, everything is fine, and I will say, oh no, ACIO always got best intentions, or maybe we've got everything, we know everything in the world, or I will say ugly truth, no, world is goddamn dirty place and not good place to live. And also, on one hand, and ACIO, and despite I am here in ACIO for more than 30 years, and I know that certain divisions inside ACIO, within ACIO, they've got their own interests. They are very bad. In quotes, for greater good, but I think, what the heck are you talking about? Greater good and making slavery, or I don't know, like, killing like mass murders of people, what I'm talking about, like, what the heck? Like genocides, you know what I'm talking about? Like, this is not okay. So, I should be, and I am, honest with you, not only with both of you, Olaf and Jessica, but to all of our listeners. Because there are only two ways how to do this disclosure. Either to be honest and say everything, that means true in the first place, and only that what I'm sure about in the second place, 100% sure, or say nonsenses and pretend that I everything on in another place or in another hand, and I will never ever choose the second option. Period. End of story. Okay?
That's right, Peter, because then those that are doing this, that are lying or fabricating and covering up information, saying that they know things that they don't, it is actually hurting disclosure. It is preventing people from seeing anything that looks credible, because a lot of things will come out in the end, and the truth of what people are saying. Unfortunately, the ones that are telling the truth may suffer a great deal, because of those that are fabricating or lying about certain things are more sensational, or seem to have a better handle on everything and say, oh, I know, I'm positive. But, maybe 5 years down the road, you're going to discover that there was a lot of fraudulent comments and assertiveness, but that was mostly for show and for dominance in viewers. So something like that we try to avoid, where we try to present the information, also have some form of integrity regarding, on a personal level. I feel very strongly about this, and Peter does as well. So, only discussing the things that we know are true, and as much as possible, because there's a lot of missing information due to the tampering of recall and memories.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. What I want to say is that I was absolutely not interested whatsoever to go further with my own story and my recalls and memories coming to surface. It was like trying to ignore it. I was saying to myself that I don't want to take part in this anymore. I'm out. So it's like you don't want to read the book anymore. Fine, put it in the shelves. But it was impossible.
You can't do that.
I couldn't do that. It was like hunting me.
Ask Peter if you can leave.
Once no, honestly,
Yeah.
I said the same thing. Well, I want to get out of this.
Yeah.
I don't know how did I sign up for this? I didn't, couldn't figure it out. But, like Peter, reminded me, so you're in. And it's not like something that you can and go around. But what do you think, Peter?
Yes, you are right. Absolutely. And that's the problem. It's how can I say it, like depressing or something like that, that many people wants to get out. And this is the problem. And this is real problem, because the people want to get out. And to be perfectly honest, it is not surprising me, because it's goddamn complicated to handle all these kind of problems, as you exactly as you described it, Olaf. It was like, what the heck? I don't wanna deal with that anymore. But this is exactly, I mean, you nailed it. Like, yes, of course, but it is not like I will close the book and I will put it back into the shelf. It is not like that, because it will haunt you once you from certain point. Once you start to get recollections of memories, okay, you can put it down, or maybe, I don't know, to the side, or do you know what I mean? But once you start to get it, it will hunt you, like it or not. It will hunt you down, and it will hit you even harder and harder. So that's the stuff, and it will, I don't want to say ruin your life, but make it much, much more complicated. Because it is not like you should deal with this 24/7 nonstop. Of course not. But from time to time, once you've got free time and you really don't know what the heck should you do, you should be like, okay, I will keep this in my mind, and do you know what I mean? Make some research, all kind of that stuff, So if you want to talk about your experiences, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure now if we can talk about the thing I did when we talked to each other 15th of January this year. You asked me if I could do something.
I know. Yes, it is. This is declassified. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I think we also. I think Jessica as well. She was a bit surprised when we talked about that, because even me, I was. Peter asked me directly, "We need your help. We need your assistance." So I said, of course, I will do whatever it takes. I will do my best to complete the mission. And the mission, the mission was, can you please get a hold on a manual for the machine, so-called machine, at the Wehrmacht base? We need the manual. That was the question. And I was like, wow.
Because we never ever. It was like, what the heck?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Because this machine is like absolutely goddamn complicated.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck is this? We cannot get it to work.
Yeah.
And we were absolutely like speechless about that.
And when I put my head on the pillow, I was already on my way to the base. I saw the entrance. I put my hands on the panel because I have access. I did go through several levels, floors, or yeah, and I found myself all the way down to the. I can only describe it as the library. Library. It looked like a library. It was like from an old movie or something. I'm not talking about like a digital library. It was like an old-fashioned library, and I
Like
found,
like an
yeah,
older style, like you see in
yeah,
these underground bases.
yeah, well, it's like in the 50s or something. That's also
Yeah,
very
yeah.
common when I have the recalls. It's like I'm back to the 50s. So, yeah, anyway, but I was able to get a hold on the manual, and I gave Peter the 4 digital numbers. It's together. I know because he he did it. I gave him the numbers, and I asked Johan about that, and he was like, "Wow, you're absolutely right. The machine has 4 buttons, and the only thing Peter needed was the 4, the codes, the code, yeah, the numbers."
But give me a second. But you, and that's the stuff.
Yeah.
This is the, how can I say it, the part when it got tricky.
Yeah.
And of course we don't, because now, I mean, once we will talk about it more detail, got into too much details, we will, it is not okay. But that is the part you are able and you was able to remember. But do you know what actually happened? That this is absolutely crazy. That prior, so before the call and all kind of that stuff. I mean, you gave me this 4-digit code, all kind of that stuff. We received on our deepnet computers the whole blueprint of the whole machine.
Wow.
It came from Scandinavia, so positively from you, positive. And just
I
by the
remember
way,
that. Didn't he tell you that? Because, or am I just remembering that?
because give me a second, and that was the stuff that actually you've got some sort of as you said, mindset-ish blueprint, frequency blueprint. So it was blueprint. So this is the first positive confirmation that okay, this is from Olaf. And the second positive confirmation that there is a match, or there was a match, like alphanumerical string of super soldier agent 2-in-1. Let's say alphanumerical string, like for example you have on, for example, car license plate or something like that. But this alphanumerical string, it is way much longer than, in quotes, normal car license plate. And I was like, what the heck? Because technically I know that something like that should happen, or at least I believed, I hoped, right? But I was like, what the heck? Complete, total, absolutely goddamn precise blueprint, so we know how the heck should this machine start to work. But this should be absolute, like, nonsense, useless crap,
Yeah.
without
Exactly.
these 4 digits, because it is pretty much the principle is the same as cell phone. You've got two side of system. How the heck 2 steps you can get 3 uh, tries for 4 digits, and it will stuck on first stage, and second stage you've got 4 digits, technically not 4 digits, but from 0 to 9, but from A to E. That means a hexagonal system, and that will be much more tricky. And because of you, my bad, thanks to you, we start to get to, we force this machine to back to the work. And I was like, what the heck? I was like, in that short period of time, I was like, no, this is crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm very happy about it that we finally completed the
I want to
mission.
ask you, Olaf, do you
Yeah.
remember that conversation about the blueprint, or is this just a memory that I have?
Do you
No, this
remember
is,
him
Saying that to you?
No, this is new information.
Okay, because
So
it's like it's a memory to me. Peter, did you tell me this, or
Oh,
I don't?
yeah. We talked about that.
We talked about it. I was like, yeah. I'm like, why do I? Yeah, I recall all of this.
But Olaf, it was very short period of time. It was less than 1 week, and
Yeah.
you did that because I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want, I know, I was sure that you will be able to, in quotes, crack it. I mean, the whole system, whatever. I wasn't sure about the whole system, but at least some sort of principles, basic principles, all kind of that stuff. But the whole blueprint, I was like,
Yeah.
what in world? And then these combinations, all kind of that stuff, and start a waste protocol. And I was like, what the heck is that? It was some sort of like, you know, starting program, whatever. Once you've got, I don't know,
Yeah.
operating system,
A
but
restart.
yeah, some sort of like before operating system, all kind of that stuff, some lead-ish. I was like, what in the world? And that's the stuff because those guys, they don't believe me. And I was like, what the heck is wrong with you guys? He know all the stuff. He doesn't give a shit. You don't believe him and doesn't give a shit. Look at that. And even to this, prior to this event, they were skeptical about you, and I was pissed off about them. I was seriously pissed off about them. Sorry, at them. And after that, you wasn't faking it up, and I was like, I never did.
Yeah, because I honestly I was afraid of. No way, I'm not being able to do this. It was like I will give it a try, and as I told you, as soon as I put my head on the pillow, I was on the mission.
Well, when we talked originally, you said, "Do I have to actually go to the facility?"
how to secure it, and
Yeah.
It's illegal, and there were some
Yeah, I
serious
remember that.
concerns, and
Yeah,
so that's where
I
the
did it remote, like
well,
Yeah,
you did it with your avatar. Was it an avatar?
No, you are not right.
remotely, like a
Remote,
remote viewer. Yeah,
Remote view and astral view,
Astro.
kind of.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because I
two
didn't
in
know,
one.
because you said you actually kind of went up there and
No,
put your
no,
hand
no.
up and everything.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if there was,
But
how that
No,
translated.
no, it is two in one because once again, Olaf as Olaf is a super soldier and agent two in one. This is the same stuff, astral and remote two in one, because it is not, the astral and remote is not the same one, and you know it, Jessica. You know it.
Yeah,
It is,
yeah, I've done plenty remote. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That was one of the things Peter told me in the beginning, that I was also a remote viewer. I did scanning work for Kruger. There's a lot of things I've been involved with. So, but I don't know. I have like 15 more minutes. Then I just have to go.
Do you know what? Actually, I just want to say that this will be pretty much good point to stop the actual show. What do you think, Jessica?
It's a little bit over 2 hours, and it gives a lot of information for people to think about. So
Yeah.
we don't like to overload people. give it to them in segments. Yeah, but that also means that since we're not finished with the conversation, that it would be very nice for you to come back and continue this conversation. And even you had some pictures to share with us, and maybe we could save those for the next discussion.
Absolutely. You can save them.
Okay.
I'm grateful. Thank you for bringing me in to your show, and I'll be happy to come back because there is a lot of things we need to continuing talk about. So
That's perfect. Well, thank you so much, Olaf, and also thank you, Peter, the insider, for joining us and also helping to bring to light some of the information of what's going on with the ACIO, the associates of the ACIO, and the help to our planet.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me a regular opportunity to be on your show and
our show. This is
okay, our
Disclosures.
show.
That's right.
Yeah,
the co-host
okay,
here.
okay. And I'm looking forward to next time.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for listening. Stay tuned. We have more interviews coming up, and we also have other shows related to disclosures. So have a good day. Keep listening. Stay strong. Stay awake. And let's all learn together and make this world a better place. Have a good day.
You have been listening to Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Ariel Morocco. Join us on YouTube channel Jessica Ariel Morocco and visit www.peter-insider.com and www.readingsbyariel.com. Remember to post your questions in the comment section below the video. We look forward to hearing from you.